Your San Francisco 49ers have just taken their first loss of the season after starting out 3-0. They lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars in heartbreaking fashion at home and now have two tough games ahead of them. We're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about the future. Is it time to panic or is it just an off day? We'll discuss that plus more next. All right, welcome back to Last Second Sports, where we are giving you our take down to the last second. It's the post-game rant, and this show is accurately named, especially when the 49ers lose in the fashion in which they did. I got my guy David with me. David, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, man, I can't complain. I'm doing great. It's been beautiful weather here on the north shore of Lake Superior, Minnesota. My parents are in town. My dad's got his Brock Purdy t-shirt on. He took it off. Put another shirt on.
Yeah. No. I prefer. Listen, I prefer David's dad to be shirtless in this vision of mine.
He's a 70-year-old Adonis. I wonder if he's listening. He's usually in here. The last couple of times he's been in town, he wants to watch a show. I kicked him out. He's on the back porch starting a fire, and so we'll have some things to talk about today. But what a game, eh?
Yeah, what a game. I love how you just like turned Canadian on us. That was great.
I'm almost there. I'm 10, 12 miles. I'm right there.
All right. Well, listen, we always have our topics, but we also always just kind of give some rough thoughts, some raw thoughts initially after the game, just kind of where our head's at. So, David, I will ask you, I mean, for me, the 49ers, I broke the record of the most consecutive games without an interception forced. I think they had the record tied coming into this, 10 straight games, now 11 straight games in which their defense has not forced an interception. So that's cool. As good as this defense has been, they have not been very opportunistic outside of Fred Warner doing his Peanut Tillman impression. So there is that portion of it. The Jags defense was very, very stingy. I mean, the fact that the game was as close as it was with the special teams blunders on top of the turnovers forced is actually miraculous. I don't know how they were in that game. They had no business. And to me, and I said this in the group chat, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't know if they're poorly coached, but they are one of the worst executing teams I've seen in a long time. I mean, they had so many unforced errors, like time running out, not getting plays in, just stupid stuff, drops, bad unforced error. I mean, just everything, penalties galore. And that's how the game essentially stayed close. So just what are some of your initial thoughts coming out of the game? And then we'll get into the more structured topics.
Well, and I want to talk about that because you only line up against the teams that you play. You know, the Panthers shut out the Falcons last week 30-0, and they get donkey snapped with the Patriots. The point is, though, this Jaguars team, like you said, you watch them play all the game. You never felt like you felt that they were not going to relinquish the lead, but if you're a Jags fan, you were never comfortable. Like this team is, like you said, one of the dumbest teams in execution on offense that I've seen. And it just feels like the Niners have just had 3 games in a row against 3 offenses that are just, it kind of inept, you know? And it's like in that situation where despite going up against a team that brain farted, and we're talking about delay of games on 3rd and inches, folks. Like, what other play are you going to run there? You know, under center, you can't get the center to snap you the ball. Whether it's Liam Cohen getting cute or what have you. And despite that, the Niners are still are playing these teams way too tight. And I think that what we're going to see here is that we're going to talk about a lot of things, but all of a sudden you're going to have Thursday short week against the Rams, right? You're going into Tampa to play a team that really nobody wants to play and gave Philly all they could handle. Then you got Atlanta, who's a wild card, who just took out the Commanders today. Look, the records be damned. Both these teams now are 3-1. I don't think anybody watching this game today is afraid of either of these teams. And I think we're going to get into a lot of it, but boy, we have to start at quarterback. We have to start at the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, you know, as we look to the future just for a second, this game was a pivotal game because losing this game, to me, it's great that they started out 3-0, maybe had some luck on their side, what have you. Losing this game means that you could very easily be 3-3 headed into that Atlanta game that you were talking about. I mean, I'm not picking them against the Rams. I'm not picking them against the Bucks. So now all of a sudden you're potentially 3-3 if that falls through and things aren't looking so great. So, the 3-0 starts great, but it's what we talked about is whether it's fair or not, Mac Jones was 2-0, right? And I'm not a QB wins guy. I'm really not, but a lot of fans are, and a lot of people around the league are. All I know is Mac Jones was 2-0. If Brock Purdy falls to 1-3 on the season and continues to look like he did today, the chatter will be there. It just will be. It's hard to not be there. So,
but how wouldn't it? And what we saw though is I think we're going to walk through a lot of these scenarios before we have the benefit of looking at the all 22. Folks, 3 turnovers today. Could have been more. Multiple players hurt, could have been more hurt because I was sitting here watching my dad. I mean, every ball, it was odd when a pass wasn't floated. Now, there were a couple plays like to that KB on the sideline where he put some touch on it. Guys got wide open. CMC, safety boneheadedly like putting a spy on Brock and letting CMC go down the sideline. And that's why he has an inflated yards per catch today because he got 40 yards on one play. But it was just everything was high. Everything was then, if it was in the dirt behind people. And the first game against Seattle, guys, Brock Purdy should have thrown legitimate 100% guaranteed 3 picks, probably a guaranteed 4, and close to a 5th.
Yeah.
And somebody was asking, was that before or after he got hurt? Folks, he's healthy to play. He's running around. Did he look like when he was running, making plays that he couldn't use his feet? Did it look like he was like struggling to push? But guys, this is who Brock is this year right now. Oh, he's rusty. No. He's a turnover machine. This is reminding me, my Iowa State fan, watched Iowa State tank Arizona last night. Brock, there's a reason why Jesse and I had him as a second round. I had him almost a late first round prospect after his sophomore year. There's a reason why he almost went undrafted. And it was because of the way he's playing in the week 1 and week 4. He's even admitted it. He's trying to do too much, or he's getting in his head, or he doesn't have the arm to compensate with what he thinks he can do in his head. Whatever it is today, guys, you can't win like this. This is not a $53 million quarterback. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. But folks, if you took the nameplate off the back of the shirt, if you did a Nicolas Cage face off John Travolta, if you said that was Caleb Williams, if you said that was Jared Goff, even that people like to pile on him. If you said that was Trevor Lawrence, right? Niners fans would be calling a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get into the minutia, but my biggest thing with this is that the turnovers, the play, there were so many passes that were just receivers were trying to bail him out left and right, throwing the ball out of bounds, throwing the ball missing 2 wide open touchdowns when they had to settle for field goals inside the 5.
Yeah, here's the thing, and you're exactly right. Again, people don't want to hear it, especially from me, because I've never been the Brock Purdy guy, even though I talked about him a year before anybody knew who the hell he was. I get it. But I'll reiterate exactly what you said. The reason I had him as a 3rd round prospect and not higher had nothing to do with his height or his arm strength or any of that garbage. It was all because he turned the ball over too much. He had too many boneheaded plays. That was there in college. It's been there in practice. It wasn't there to start his career, but it has been there since essentially the Ravens game a year plus ago. Okay. This is who he is. He does put the ball in harm's way, and what makes him really good is also what is his downfall at times. And the playmaking ability is great when it works out. But, I'm the same guy that called it out 3 times 2 seasons ago before the 4 turnover game and was like, hey, when he's rolling one way and he throws across his body 15 yards downfield and the pass is completed and everybody loves it. I'm like, that's not a smart play. It's just not, because that's how you get turnovers. And it's great when it works, but when it doesn't, these are the things that happen. It can snow pile on them quick. And that's what we're seeing. And I want to address these because I knew this was coming. AB, blame it all on Purdy when the receivers had a lot of drops. 3 turnovers, and you can honestly say one is his.
What?
Brock wasn't that bad if they caught the 13 drops. Okay.
13 drops.
Let's address this real quick because a lot of people will talk about the drops, and they should talk about the drops. But are we not going to talk about the 3 amazing catches that his receivers made, 2 of them which probably saved interceptions on his behalf? We're not going to talk about those. We can only talk about the drops. Like, this goes both ways. There was the Ricky Pearsall one-handed grab on the sideline, the Jennings fingertip grab, which easily could have been picked if he doesn't go up and get that over the middle. The Robinson, same thing, jumps through the roof to go make this play on a poor high thrown ball. But we don't talk about that. We only talk about the drops. We act as if nobody saw the game. You didn't watch the game, the same game that I watched. We're just going to go to the box score, which we always do. This is the crap that I hate more than anything. We always end up box score scouting a game that we all saw. We all saw the same game. So why do we then box score scout that game that we just watched as if we had blinders on the whole time? How does this always happen? The fact, and I saw it all over Twitter. Oh, the turnovers weren't on him. Oh, and then it was, well, the turnovers might be on him, but he's injured. What do you expect him to do?
What?
Mac Jones got none of this. As the backup quarterback, none of this leeway when he was playing. But when the $53 million guy comes in and gets 3 turnovers, he's hurt, and somebody else got injured, and what's he supposed to do? I don't know. Lead the team? Not turn the ball over on the final drive the way that he does continuously? Do something but that. Anything but what I just watched, anything but that. As the franchise quarterback, please. Anything.
It's Sunday, and Reverend Jesse Naylor is taking us to church today. Folks, let me just tell you something. These comments, we can categorically go, just go all the way through it. But let's go to this injury stuff. Do you think Mac Jones looks healthy with that massive knee brace on his knee, limping around the last 2 games?
No.
Do you think, you see even the pocket mobility he actually was able to have to evade certain pressure at certain times? He's not going to be running any 40. He's not getting any rushing yards. You think Mac Jones looked healthy? You think Mac Jones is turning the ball over at the clip that Brock Purdy is? And by the way, let's go back to that first interception. The play before, when Ricky Pearsall makes this incredible one-handed catch. That was not a touch throw by Brock Purdy. That was a wounded duck floater that was supposed to be back shoulder. It ended up kind of being that, but Ricky has to basically do the Michael Jordan adjust in the air, go low and cushion it in his elbow. Okay. The very next play, CMC right down the seam, right over his head, interception. I had people I know, okay, blaming that on CMC. Ricky Pearsall injured, out of the game. Why? Brock Purdy throws him out of bounds and makes him take a collision unnecessarily. Okay. You see the Demarcus Robinson makes a hell of a catch. Juwan Jennings makes a hell of a catch. I saw people blaming Juwan Jennings for not catching a ball that was behind him in the dirt in the end zone. Okay. First drive, they had to settle for 3. Braden Willis, because he's not George Kittle, we're not targeting. We don't trust him. I remember Brock Purdy not trusting Brandon Ayuk last year against the Rams, which would have sealed the week. But we blame Ronnie Bell, a 7th round receiver. Okay. Practice squad receiver, out of the league receiver, not Brock Purdy. Okay. We see this all get, and regardless, guys, we focus on the turnovers too much. We could talk about the turnovers. I mean, we can do that. It's not just the turnovers. Turnover on downs or turnovers. Missing a 4th and 2 is like a pick, folks. A 4th and 2 where he sails it. Easy first down. They're going to have 1st and goal at the 10. Inside the 10. That in effect sealed the game. Guys, I'm running out of we could go through. I mean, if I want to drag up the play-by-play and encyclopedically go through what's on Brock. Were there drops? Of course. Okay. KB, horrible drop, right? CMC had a drop.
A couple of them.
CMC had a drop where he was getting his head taken off 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Juice had a drop.
It would have been a loss of 5 yards if he had caught it.
Guys, Brock Purdy's touchdown passes today had a net total of negative air yards. Now, that's okay, right? I'm not saying that if that were in the context of it, like Brock Purdy did nothing. today that lifted this team. He could have made some plays. These are wide open schemes. Jake Tonjes touchdown. Kyle Shanahan masterclass. CMC down the seam at the end of the game, or down the sideline, at the end of the game on the boundary. Defender busted coverage. The biggest plays of this game, soft spots in the zone, Kyle Shanahan scheme, busted coverage. What are we talking about?
We can look at this game, David, as a one-off, right? And we can isolate every single play if that's what we want to do. But the problem remains. This is a league in which the average quarterback throws around 33 times a game. Okay? That's the average. When Brock Purdy throws the ball 30 plus times a game, not even the league average, just 30 times a game. The guy who's the franchise quarterback, right?
Yep.
In those games, I'm not even including the fumbles. I'm just talking about the interceptions.
Yep.
26 interceptions and 21 touchdown passes.
Yep.
So when he's asked to play the quarterback position and throw the football at not even the league average, just 30 times a game, 26 interceptions and 21 touchdown passes.
And that was before this game, correct?
No, that's including this game.
Yeah,
because
so
it was
again,
24 and 20.
Right.
So again, not including the fumbles, none of that, or rushing touchdowns, just strictly passing. 26 interceptions, 21 touchdown passes. That's the franchise guy. And this is the guy you paid.
38 attempts. And again, the average yards, everybody can say, hey, if you take the best, the average yards per pass greatly inflated by the last throw to CMC, which is also why CMC averaged 15 yards a catch. Before that, not so much. We'll talk about CMC later. So everybody's like, oh my God, CMC's is something. He's got all this juice. We'll get to him. We'll get to CMC. But folks, if you're watching the same game, and again, Jesse, have I said this almost every show? My father is here today. He's from Iowa. My sister works for Iowa State University. She's at the game last night. I am sitting here screaming at the TV, celebrating left and right. I'm an Iowa State diehard. If there's anybody that you'll ever know as a 49ers fan that wants Brock Purdy to succeed, that's in his corner, it would be me. So I have a question. Why is it so hard for people that didn't watch every snap that he played in college, who didn't live and die on the fact that he was drafted, I spent way too much money on a jersey for Brock Purdy on eBay when they sold out. I'm that guy. I want Purdy to work so badly. If you can't see that Brock Purdy is regressing, or that Brock Purdy is going back and cycling back into why he fell to 262 and why he didn't go on day 2 of the draft. You're not, it's not a good faith argument. And am I saying that Brock Purdy's career is over? No. Are we saying that Brock Purdy is this horrific player that can't rectify any of these things? No. But what we have to say is, he's healthy enough to play. Did he come out of the game for a play today, Jess?
He didn't even have an injury designation. He was running around. He didn't.
Guys, did he come out? Did he come out of the game?
Decision making is not because your toe hurts. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Did he get up slowly today? Did he look like? Did they have to stop play to check him out? Did he go in the tent? No. Did he have this helmet? Did he talk to a trainer?
No.
I'd like anybody in the comments to tell me what they saw today where his errors were because of this nebulous injury. What injury? What looked floating balls? So wait a minute. So high and low. So throwing balls in the dirt, throwing balls above receiver's head, hospital balls, late balls, taking sacks, not stepping up in the pocket where he almost had it stripped before, where Trent Williams pushes. I can't even think of the name anymore. I'm just so
Hines.
Hines. Yeah, Alan Hines. I say Hines Ward. Allen around the corner. Brock Purdy going back to regressing to what Kyle it was a bugaboo a couple of years ago. Step up in the pocket. But the reason Brock doesn't step up in the pocket is because he can't see over the offensive line. So he has to stay back in the pocket. Guys, when do the excuses stop? That's my question.
They don't. They'll never stop. And here's the deal is we're not going to just talk about Purdy. Trust me, we're taking a lot of people to task tonight, and as we should. But it starts with the franchise quarterback. This is you don't get to get all the money and get all the praise and he carried the team to the Super Bowl and all that without this. This comes with it. This absolutely comes with it. And just so we are clear, the 49ers offensive line in pass protection ranks 13th in the league. I get it. I'm not defending the offensive line. By the way, I'm not saying it's a good offensive line. In fact, Samir, who's sent multiple super chats, he and I went back and forth online about this because the stat was posted and I said, he goes, "Oh, the offensive line's not that bad." And I said, "I think the offensive line is that bad. I just think NFL offensive lines are worse." So the 49, I'm not saying they have a great offensive line, but relatively speaking across the league, they're actually above average in pass protection. That's number one. So most quarterbacks are dealing with much worse is the point, and they don't necessarily do this. Mac Jones dealt with the same thing, the same exact thing. He didn't turn it over 5 times in 2 games, and he threw it 80 times. 80. Like, Brock threw it 38 and 35, has 5 turnovers. Mac threw it 41 and 39 and had 2 or 1. I don't even know if he had 2. What are we talking about?
Even Brock Purdy's fumble, you clearly identify the blitz at the line of scrimmage. In that situation, he knows he's got that. You cannot fumble the ball there. It's an all-out, like, you cannot do that. If you look at the picks, none of those picks were under pressure. If you look at least, I'm going to go back. I know my dad was watching. I said, "Guys, Dad, watch. There's no pressure." And Mark Sanchez, of course, is like just being himself. Okay. And talking about, he's feeling pressure. He's seeing ghosts. He's feeling ghost pressure. He's channeling Sam Darnold a la 2018. Okay. Like, this is just, that's the biggest problem for me, is that errors, even the interception where I said this is one of the worst picks I've seen at any level of football. And so it was like, "Oh, it was tipped. Folks, look at the all 22 angle of it. It was grazed and the ball didn't even get deflected. The rotation didn't change. That ball just kept going. There was nobody there. There were 4 guys, receivers way over here. It was going to be picked no matter what. Jimmy Garoppolo-esque. So when you're throwing picks under no duress, under imagined and perceived duress, this is what makes me worry. This is what gives me pause.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you start going up against teams that really, and like, look at that. How much, I mean, I'm interested to see what Next Gen says or PFF says. Like, how many pressures were created? We talked about this week 1. A lot of the pressures that you see end up created are pressures that are created by the quarterback. I don't feel like I'm looking at this game if I'm seeing that Brock Purdy had a high rate of pressure.
You want to know something crazy, David? Before the game started, I typed out 3 topics. Okay? 3 topics. Yep. One of them was Purdy's play in his return. How did the defense look without Bosa? And around the league or around the division. Those were 3 topics I had, regardless of how the game went.
Yep.
Which means that if Purdy had balled, we would talk about it.
Yep.
And we would be giving him a ton of praise right now. This, again, is not just, he played bad, let's make it the head topic. No. This was the head topic no matter what. How did he look in his return? Before the game started, good or bad, this was the first conversation to be had. So it just happens to be he looked like dog shit. I'm sorry. That's not my fault.
Folks, you know how many times he was sacked tonight, Jess?
How many?
1 time for 3 yards. 1 time.
Yeah.
Tackles for loss. The other 5 tackles for loss were on run plays. Excuse me. And in screen passes, there was 1 screen pass. That was one that was thrown behind the line of scrimmage they had, and the other ones were run plays. And in fact, though, early in the game, you saw Brian Robinson and CMC. We're going to talk about that later. It didn't end up being a good net positive. But the idea that there was some push through the interior line against the Jaguars early. But guess what? When the Jaguars can say, we're going to put all of our defense into the run and make Brock Purdy make plays, guess what happened?
Yeah.
Folks, this isn't rocket science. You don't need a PhD in all 22 from Bobby Peters. You don't need to read the book from cover to cover, right? You don't need to be subscribed. I'm just like, you don't need to be Rich Madrid. Shout out to Rich, my guy. All right. to understand the X's and O's of what's making mistakes. When you're making mistakes, when you're not under duress, it's very easy to fall back on like, oh, he must be injured. It must be nice, is what that must be. It must be nice to always have that in your back pocket, to have a fan base that is ready at the ready to roll out the red carpet. But if it happens to any other player, knives out. Oh,
and this is perfect.
What is your point? What is your point?
So Dem Niners Whoopig 3-1. What's your point? They're staring 3-3 in the face because they're about to play the Rams and the Bucks on the road. What do you mean?
Wait a minute. How many games did Brock Purdy play in those games? He played 2 games, and in week 1, we're all gonna stare. We're all gonna say it's like if I oh my goodness, it's like if my daughter learning how to drive and she runs a stop sign and doesn't hit a car, I'm like, oh, congrats.
Yeah. Hey.
Like, so like Brock Purdy week 1, Reek Woolen forgot how to play football twice, right? And we're like, we're patting him on the back. We're patting Brock on the back for a defensive back to not make a play that he would make in Pony League football. Guys, I feel like I'm in the twilight zone with some of these comments.
Honestly, I've felt this way since Jimmy Garoppolo was here. I felt like I'm in the twilight zone. Like we can't evaluate and talk about the quarterback position. Seriously, we can't. It's the craziest thing, bro. It's wild to me. We can't even evaluate it.
And I feel I was guilty of that myself. I wanted Jimmy. One of the things that we'll talk about quarterbacks is I love this. It's like, oh, he threw to 8 different receivers. Oh my God, he's really spread the ball all over the field. So what? What if he threw for 500 yards and threw to 3 receivers? Who really cares? Right? Like this idea that, and I got in my head, I remember saying that too. I was like, wait a minute. You want him to succeed, so you're ignoring. I was guilty of this with Jimmy. That's why I bought season tickets. I was all in, right? And then you start to realize that, I did the same with Brock. I like Brock. I want Brock to succeed. But I'm willing enough to actually reflect on my biases. Or an Iowa State Niner fan, pretty biased, right? I'm willing to reflect and sit there, wait a minute. Are you denying what your eyes and your ears are seeing and hearing? Yeah. So if we stripped again, nameplate away, and we did the face-off Travolta Nick Cage, if it was any other quarterback, if you were not a Niners fan and you're watching this game, I live in Minnesota, you live in Florida, we're surrounded by people that are non-Niners fans. And in fact, I think that's a big reason why I'm kind of more capable of being a little bit more objective, because I'm not surrounded by ditto heads when I'm in person. But online, that vortex.
It's wild. We have 40 super chats, so we got to get to these.
Let's go.
First of all, thank you, everybody. We're going to fire through these as quickly as possible. The ones that like say a lot, we'll give time, but we have 40 and we got to get through them. So I appreciate everybody. Shady Luke says, like clockwork, the Purdy and Mac convo is going crazy on X. I knew it would. Danny says, if I'm BA, I'm not rushing back to this mess. Bingo. I agree with that. Are we sure he's not going to get traded? I'm just throwing that out there. Samir says, hey, gents, do you still like the Brock Purdy floor in the division? If this is the floor, brother, I don't know, man. These turnovers are starting to be a lot. They really are. Denial says, over or under 2 turnovers Thursday for Brock and a 3-point loss. Anyone, if you want to crown him, then crown him. That's a great callback. I love that. If it's over under 1.5, I don't know, man. I might take the over. Samir says BP might be losing the stock in the wide receiver room too, with some of those overthrows and receivers taking on the damage to come down with the ball. Yeah, I mean, there are some hospital balls for sure. And again, we're not going to talk about it, or it wasn't talked about enough, I think, in the moment. But listen, BA's knee is torn to shreds. Probably because of a poorly thrown ball, if we're being honest.
Probably.
So, but nobody wants to talk about that. That's exactly what it was. If that was Jimmy, everybody'd be like, "Oh, it's hospital ball." But with Brock, it's like, "Oh no, it's not." Let's with kid gloves, guys, with kid gloves. But yeah, all day, every day. Kim says, "Who's gonna win more games, Mac 10 or the bubble wrap?" Shady Luke says, Purdy underthrew Ricky on the deep ball. He torched that DB. I agree. Completely agree. Ty Bud says, been a fan since 85. Never watch a Niner game this bad on all 3 stages. CMC is slow, but the line is horrible. Can't create a turnover, but can give them up. Stop with the MAC-10 stuff. Did he play this defense? 8 drops. Listen, the point is not, and I'm going to say this again. We can talk about the 8 drops, but what about the 3 amazing catches that kept drives going and 2 of them stopped turnovers from happening? We're not going to mention that. But also, this is not saying Mac Jones is better than Purdy. My whole argument, guys, anybody who's been here for a long time, and Ty, you know, you've been here, and I appreciate the super chat. Anybody who's been here for a long time knows the point that I've always made. The reason you don't pay Purdy that kind of money is because he's not a guy who will carry the team. That would Dak, Goff, Tua, any of them. You just don't pay these guys, because what you can do is get a quarterback who's about 80% effective as the quarterback you have at a fraction of the cost. And what I meant by that is exactly what Mac Jones brings. He brings at least 80% of what Brock Purdy brings and does it at a fraction of the cost, which means you can then surround him with uber talent like you did Jimmy and get results of making it far. You can do this multiple different ways. But what you can't do, and what we know factually has not happened, is paying a guy like Brock Purdy elite money and surrounding them with mediocre talent and winning a Super Bowl. It has never happened in the salary cap era. It's probably never going to happen in the salary cap era. So why do something that you know does not work in the history of the salary cap era? We have 27 years of data on this, folks. More than that. Actually, it was in 95. 30 years of data on this. 30 years says you cannot win the way that the 49ers are trying to win a Super Bowl. But what you can do every once in a while is get lucky with a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo or Mac Jones surrounded by uber talent. And then really the way that you win is you just have elite quarterback play. That's your biggest chance to win. But the 49ers don't have that luxury. So going the Mac Jones at $8 million route and surrounding him by a ton of talent is a better option, a proven, at least winnable a couple times option than what they're doing with Brock Purdy. They're not going to win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. All right? Newsflash. It's not going to happen with him getting paid this. It's not. It's never going to happen. I'm sorry.
Well,
it's not.
I want to say, again, I'll get tagged for sneak dissing and all this stuff, subtweeting, whatever. I'm getting exhausted, guys. Like, notable accounts. You go through their TL. It's like white on rice every time a non-quarterback makes a mistake. A non-pillar of the 49ers Cabo culture community makes a mistake.
Or let me add in this before you get going. How about anytime a quarterback that's not a 49er quarterback makes a mistake, they get called out by these same folks?
Sure.
Go ahead.
We could mad lib that all we want. It's fill in the blank, right? We could honestly, we could throw in so many other different scenarios. I'll read one. The 49ers played against 3 opponents today: the Jaguars, the refs, and themselves. Themselves, operative word, carrying a lot of weight, vaguely and nebulously.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go back through the TL, I don't see a single time, guys. And I'm not even getting, this is a bipartisan thing. This isn't Republican, Democrat. I'm not going to get in the detail, all that stuff. I think our sports and our political, our social discourse is just so interesting, where people will dig in their heels. They get a golden cow. They feel like there's somebody that's like this emperor that wears no clothes, that we're going to just try to make sure that everybody pretends is fully clothed. And they're going to gaslight you into oblivion. I don't understand. Like I said, I'm admitting my reflective element of going back and saying, hey, what did I tolerate as a fan? Why is it so hard to just say Brock Purdy played one of the worst games of his career today?
I don't know.
If you watch this game, is anybody watching? I just said the Panthers last week won 30-0. None of us, though, thought, oh, that's a juggernaut. Same reason I didn't think the Niners being 3-0 was like, oh my God. I'm going to school, all my Vikings fan students, and be like, yeah, 3-0. I wasn't like that. You could see what this team is. This team isn't winning. This team isn't even close to sniffing anything. And we're going to sit here, though, they're only 3-1. Hey, buck up. There's always tomorrow. Okay, great. But what about today? Can we not talk about today when we lose? Can we not talk about the elephant in the room? No. Can we not do that? Like, what is the psychological phenomenon that precludes us from actually admitting that the quarterback played like booty cheeks today? Why can't we not? Why can't we do that? I'm honestly genuinely wondering. It's like this idea of like believing in Santa Claus. It's like this childlike faith that it's like somebody's insulting your sweet grandma. Like the Brock Purdy or Jimmy Garoppolo or quarterback fill in the blank is so untouchable, is so infallible that in American history, last thing I'll say, I tell my students, we talk about it. We're won't talk about who we're talking about, but we say, hey, list the amount of people in American history that if you surveyed most Americans, that they would say these people are untouchable. That if you were to critique them, people would say, oh, you're crazy. You're trying to be different. You're trying to be negative. You're a contrarian. And they list all these names. It's all the people you'd think they would be. And then we go back and through and say, guys, just like history is not a Disney movie, right? It's not heroes. It's not villains. The credits don't roll and everything's wrapped up. People are flawed, just like you and me are flawed, just like everybody in this class is. And the best thing we can do is try to find context of what makes sense, kind of approximation of the truth. And we do the same thing, though, to NFL players and football players. We have certain players that reach this idol status where we just vilify everybody who calls a spade when the rubber hits the road and bad stuff hits the fan. And I think it's time that we start thinking about, like, wait a minute, if it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, and it does it time and time again in situations, at what point do we admit that it's a duck?
The thing is that if Brock Purdy comes out on Thursday, has 3 touchdowns and balls out, we'll sit up here and praise him, just like we're tearing him apart. The difference is
100%.
The difference is that other people will literally not do what we're doing now. They'll act as if it didn't happen. They'll put their blinders on. They'll talk about everything about it, but dance around it. And then what they'll do is they'll victory lap if he plays well on Thursday and be like, oh yeah, where's all the people now that we're playing? The same exact place. We're critiquing the game, good or bad, the way that we always do, the way that we always have. And if it wasn't good, we're going to say. And if it was good, we're going to say. Where are you critiquing the game and talking about the game, good or bad? You're only talking about the good.
Jesse.
I mean, you want to talk about bias? My gosh.
You don't delete any of your shows. Last Second Sports Fans. He's got them all archived. It's all there.
They're all
there. Go back to 2023, where Jesse and I are post game at the game in Jacksonville. Do you think you're going to see analysis where we're sitting here talking about Brock Purdy's foibles? No, because he didn't make them. Right. His head. This is like it's the idea that the pattern of behavior has taken a shift. Okay. Just like it did at Iowa State from sophomore to junior and senior year. He's admitted it. Brock himself has said it. He tries to do too much. Why? Because when he's incapable of doing whatever that quote unquote too much is,
that's it. Let's do some sleeper real quick before it gets too late, because this Thursday night football game is about to start. So, hey, listen, get a 100% deposit match of up to $100 using promo code LSS. Link is pinned to the top of the chat. It's also in the description. You can play daily fantasy, weekly fantasy, yearly fantasy. I've got a dynasty league, which I'm getting torched in because Burrow's injured, but it's okay. You know, we're going to stick with it with sleeper. And you can also have some skin in the game with some skill-based picks like we're about to make. The easiest skill is to take the freebie that Sleeper gives you every single week, which they're giving us the freebie on Dak Prescott. He needs just 1 passing yard. We win that one. All right. I've got to ask you, and it's got to be on here. Please be on here. Please, please, please. Oh, they have to have it. Oh, they took it away. The Parsons half sack was on there,
Oh, well, yeah.
and they've taken it away. Okay, all right. Let's go. Listen, I like kickers. Aubrey,
Oh,
1.5 made field goals, more or less.
more. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go more on that.
Okay, all right. Let's go. Let's go. Ooh, Tucker Kraft's been on a heater lately.
Combo
46
boy.
and a half receiving yards, more or less.
Ooh, well, I'm gonna say is Jaden Reed is out.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Golden, I think,
has
has a
done
huge
nothing.
night. Well, no, but he should have done a lot. I think this is Golden's coming
That's
out party.
True. They've been okay.
But
Well, then let's go with Golden. 46 and a half for Golden too.
I'm gonna go.
More?
I'm gonna go positive regression. I'm gonna
Okay.
say that he has a breakout game tonight with Deron Bland out. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And let's go one more. Let's go. George Pickens, does he get in the end zone?
Yes.
I love it. All right. 9 times. We're dropping a 20 spot or a 10 spot on it. We can't drop more than 10 when you use a freebie promo. All right, there it is. $93 on the line.
Ooh.
You can get in. You can either tail us or fade us. Use promo code LSS. Link is pinned to the top of the chat to get your 100% deposit match of up to $100. All right. Let's these super chats are going crazy. Let's also talk CMC. Let's talk CMC.
Yep, let's do it.
Because we obviously have talked the Purdy thing, and I'm sure that all these super chats are having to do with that as well. But CMC is clearly not the same player. He's fantastic as a receiver still. Like, there's no denying that. And that's where his value is. But he came into the game averaging just 3.4 yards per carry. He left this game averaging 2.8 yards per carry, which probably puts his average around like the 3.2-ish on the season.
Yeah.
His counterpart looked much more explosive in the run game in Robinson. He did last game with his 1 carry as well. A lot of people got really mad when I said that he lost a step this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, those people are nowhere to be found now, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Is it clear now that he's lost a step, or is this on the offensive line, in your opinion? A little bit of both. Like, how do you see this thing with CMC?
It's not, look, it's on CMC, but he's not the cliff. Look, he is still a viable NFL option, but he's also getting spammed in volume. And like I said, going down the boundary unaccounted for on a busted coverage and picking up 40 yards on one play. Look, that happens to many players. To be real with you, CMC is an all-time, all-around back in the NFL. He's a Hall of Famer. Player. He's a gold jacket player. Focus, period. I really believe he'll get there, even without longevity. I believe that. Okay. I think what he's done is, I wouldn't say unicorn, but it's borderline in that territory. Okay. 17 carries for 49 yards. This is box score scouting. If you want to accuse me of that, that's not what I'm doing. When you see what he's doing, now granted, Brian Robinson had a smaller sample size. If Brian Robinson had 17 carries, we have no idea. It would have regressed back down. And Brian Robinson probably averages less than 4.2 yards, but that's what he's done for his entire career. Okay. Brian Robinson isn't that good. Okay. But CMC came in averaging 2.8. Was it 2.8?
No, he was averaging
3.1, 3.2,
3.4 or something like that. And today he had 2.8. Yeah.
2.9. Yep. And so with a long of 11.
I don't mean to shortchange him.
No. So a long of 11. So you take, it was 16 for 38 before that. Okay. Guys, you can't say that it's all 5-man fronts, which actually Jacksonville didn't do today. Okay. And I don't even need the all 22 for that. I was watching them with the eagle eye. Okay. Brock rolling back for 30 attempts. Christian McCaffrey, again, this is the thing that's odd to me. He's always playing that receiver role. He's always playing that receiver threat. He had 6 catches for 92 yards, averaged 15.3. He had a touchdown, nifty footwork on that touchdown. He is not washed, folks. We get that.
He's not washed.
But as a runner, which matters, when you're using him as a runner and a primary runner and you're spamming him carries, and the only reason you didn't get more is because they're playing from behind, which I told my guys, Marco and Jesse, that they'd be doing all day today, and they were. It's a problem. He doesn't have the juice. He is routinely getting hit behind the line of scrimmage quicker. So we talk about yards after contact. The contact is coming sooner because this is a game of inches. This is a game of milliseconds. And he's just not that dude anymore. That burst, that explosiveness, that separation at the point of attack is just not 2023 CMC. It's not prime CMC. Again, that's not us saying that you need to go put him out to pasture and go into retirement. But we have to start thinking, like, should this team be more running back by committee? Should you be putting CMC in a position where you're legitimately using him, not as a gadget player, but as more of a receiving player, a guy that's yes, like, and this idea that is trading Jordan Mason looking dumb now. Yes. But I was told, we got Jordan James and Marcus Siegel. So, guys, like, the bottom line is this: it's week 4. The juice isn't going to get. You're not going to get reinvigorated this season. And by the way, this team is a week 14 bye week.
I know they're going to be exhausted by then.
So exactly. So Kyle's not going to stop spamming CMC. Gurindo is healthy, by the way. Was he even active today? I don't know. I think he was active.
I don't even know.
I don't even know. So my thing is, like, in a game like this, where the Jaguars are letting Bashal Tutin rip off the 60-yard return or get touches, like, we're not getting a guy with legitimate Raheem Mostert explosiveness touches. CMC has shown, guys, this is 4 weeks in, guys. This is now a reasonable enough sample size. In a regular season, usually with a 16-game season in the past, that's a quarter of the year, folks. Coming in with healthy, fresh legs. This is as fresh as CMC will be all year. You don't get into a week 14 bye. We got a Thursday night game coming up against a really tough Rams defense.
Yeah.
It's not, boy, like, the car has gone off the lot and is depreciated in value. It doesn't mean in that way as being a primary ball carrier. Teams and defenses are keying in, and they're going to let them get the garbage time stuff later in the passing game. They're not worried about that. It's a problem, folks.
The Jags, Etienne balled out, by the way.
Yep.
LaQuint Allen, week to week, their third running back gets more touches than our number 2 running back on a week in and week out basis. And that's with Etienne and Tutin going nuts this season, essentially. They're still giving their rookie LaQuint Allen more snaps than what we're giving our backups, basically. Like, it makes no sense. No sense at all. And it slowed down a little bit. I think he only ended up with like 23 touches, but it started out where it was like he was the whole offense for the first like drive and a half or whatever it was. Like, oh my gosh, can we chill out a little bit with the spamming of this guy? It's insane. Absolutely insane. And here's another one. Trent Williams.
Oh, Lord.
Got beat like a drum today, repeatedly. He's clearly regressing as well. We saw it in week 1, and now we've seen it again. So the 2 times that he's faced a legitimate pass rush unit, he's really, really struggling. Struggling. He's not the same either.
I think there was that one play where I said I thought he did an effective job of pushing the defender, the edge. It was Hines Allen around, and Brock needed to step up. But there were a lot of times, like Dwayne Smoot, who's long in the tooth, like, he shut him like a rag doll. I mean, he's not. His ability to have that uncanny mobility and power and athleticism all put together in one, kind of like superpower. It's not there, right? And we talked about this in the offseason. Behind the scenes, we've talked about this, Jess. That ankle, folks, it's only September. These guys aren't going to hit the fountain of youth. It ain't coming.
No.
Like, what you seeing right now isn't going to get better. And I think that knowing this, like, we're in that point where the sad reality is that we're in run it back mode. We're in nostalgia mode. We're in Bon Jovi Glory Days mode. Okay. Like, the window for the team as it's currently constructed, the iteration of these guys as the core of this team, that is past. And as soon as this 49ers team realizes, they say, hey, we're going to try to stay competitive, try to win as many games as possible. But guys, like you can't.
This is exactly, David, why they shouldn't trade for a big time pass rusher and dump
Absolutely.
assets into it. They're
Absolutely.
not a Super Bowl caliber team with
No.
Bosa. Getting Trey Hendrickson
No.
or Thibodeau is
No.
not going to put your window and open it up. And again, these are debates that I've had pretty frequently. And people are like, oh, how can you say the window's not open? Are you even competitive? It's like, yeah, I am, but I also have eyes. Like, this team's not winning a Super Bowl if you add a Trey Hendrickson. They're just not.
Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't
don't dump assets into it.
No, this isn't D Ford. This isn't the CMC trade, right? This isn't those were trades that really could have reinvigorated. And people talk about D Ford not coming through. Like that was I actually didn't disagree with that, right? The Trent Williams trade in 2020, right? These are different things. These are younger core veterans. Guys, that was 5 years ago for Trent Williams. You guys realize 5 years ago is a eternity in the NFL. Like this, I don't think people realize like how long this has been going. We almost been a decade in the Shanahan era, folks. Like we got to at some point you give up the ghost of the past and you start to ask yourself, are we comfortable enough ripping off the Band-Aid and realizing that this team just ain't it? And when I mean it, that 2-letter word, I'm talking like legit Super Bowl contender. This team is not. This team's a mirage in the playoffs.
But the flip side is that the future can be bright because of all the money that they've saved. And as long as they have a good draft next year and then they can hit in some free agent spots, they can be okay.
Sure.
And moving forward, but you don't sacrifice that to go all in on a year like this when they're not. And this is not hindsight is 2020. I had a show on Monday with Coach after they started 3-0 saying this team is not that team. They're just not. And it's so clear now that they've lost. People have got to see it, I would hope.
Well, I think what's funny is if you guys watch our shows, I mean, just our post-game shows, right?
Yeah.
None of us we're excited to be 3-0, but like, okay, guys, like again, like I said, like the poor analogy, maybe I run 3 stop signs in a row and I manage not to hit anybody. I'm a good driver. No.
And
it's like the idea that you guys like it, be honest with yourself and ask yourself the product that this offense is put on the field the last 4 games, that this as constructed has any capability whatsoever to win a playoff game. I don't see it.
So I don't either. 808 Niner says the O-line is trash. If they can't run this, this is hard to watch. The Jags are bad, and we just gave the game away. Brock and his weak arm is a problem. This looks like Jimmy G with these high passes. Yeah, I mean, you blamed everybody, and they all deserve blame. I agree with you. That's a great take. Sean says, raise up your hand if you knew Brock was going to cough it up. Dude is not it. I'm going to say it. McCorkle would have won this game. A couple more like this, and he will lose the locker room. It will start with the defense.
I'm raising 2 hands.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of confidence that they were going to win that game, even when they had ball in hand. I'll be real with you. Humdinger says, I think the Bears would trade us Moody back for Bird. Hey, one thing we don't know about Moody is he might have a rocket arm and could throw the ball over those mountains. We know his leg's not any good, but what about the arm? Matt says Jimmy G 2.0 with scrambling ability. I don't care anymore. This is how he played all last year. This is a great point. And I'm not going to say, Jimmy G 2.0. Here's the thing. Somehow, some way, still about 1 full year of games, 1 full season of games to start a career is now overriding a bigger sample size of not being great. Like the sample size is now bigger of him being a bit of a turnover machine. It's bigger than the beginning of his career, and it's more recent. So the bigger, more recent sample size continuously is getting overlooked because it started out awesome for a 17-game stretch or whatever it was.
Yep.
That's where we are at. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Denial says, was that Mullins or Garoppolo at quarterback? I forgot. RS says BP figured out every possible way to lose this game today. Brock Purdy passes looked like he was throwing alley-oops for a dunk contest. Shaking my head.
Can we stop here for this one? RS, dude, this is what I'm talking about. People focus on, they only perseverate on the interceptions themselves.
Yeah.
It's the, and also when we focus on third downs too often too, or like a fourth down not being a turnover on downs. It's the plays on first and second down that don't make it that contribute to the punts and the turnover on downs as well, folks.
Yeah.
I think and it's so easy to compartmentalize so much, and we talk about the word clutch, Jess. Like, oh, it's all the fourth quarter. It's all we talk about. We could talk about Brock in the fourth quarter too, but like, first quarter matters. The second quarter matters.
Sure.
So first and second down matter. And as RS says, all of these throws. I was talking to my dad today. It's like every throw was high. Every throw was floated. And we've been talking about the Seattle game. There's no zip. There's no variation of RPMs. It's just like everything is late. Everything's
slow. A change up.
Everything's exactly. This can't play in the NFL, folks. It can't. And so even the tipped interception that literally did not change rotation was going to the same spot.
It was headed for a defender. What are we talking about?
It's like we've seen field goals tipped at the line of scrimmage that go 50 yards and make it, right?
Yeah.
Guys, stop it.
Cryptic says gave the benefit of the doubt that Saleh would find creative ways to get pressure without Bosa. Him out was a massive loss. D-line was getting punked. This was another topic that we had, but so many super chats. A lot of people took a half game sample size without Bosa. Also didn't look at the numbers and was like, oh, they're going to be fine without Bosa. No. Bosa's a good player. Bosa's a really good player. He's a difference maker. It's going to be tough to get pressure without him. And when you do so, you're going to have to give up something on the backside of this defense and give up easy completions with quarterbacks like Matthew Stafford coming up and Baker Mayfield that are going to feast on that and be like, oh, blitz, we know exactly where you're coming. This is cool. Let me just complete passes right behind that and beat one-on-one coverage with my good receivers. Like, that's what's going to happen without Bosa. So, Javid says the cult of Purdy is infuriating.
Yeah, and I think that to also blame it on, like, to go back though, none of us are wishing that Brock won't succeed. Like this idea that, and also
I think the 49ers to win football games.
So do I. Like I'm by the way, I'm flying to Tampa to be with my guy Jess. Okay. My wife's coming with me. We're all going to the game. Like, I don't buy it. You don't invest in tickets to an NFL football game, okay? Hoping your team loses, okay? Hoping your team doesn't succeed. Right. You don't buy season tickets like I have for a decade, being like, God, I just hope all of our players make mistakes. Okay, I just want to know how ridiculous that is for people that think. I swear, I've heard like, oh, you guys want, like, look at okay, I'm wearing a Christian McCaffrey T-shirt right now. Okay. But it doesn't mean that I can't say that he's getting older and the cliff is there. Okay. It's okay to be real. And I think that, yeah, I just think
hold on, speak for yourself. When I was 6 years old and chose to root for this team and wore my 49ers starter jacket in middle school that I've posted online, and I just posted a picture of me 12 years ago with my baby son who's now 12.
Yeah.
Wearing 49er jerseys before a game. Yeah. I did all of that, David, to infiltrate this fan base in the future, because I knew this day would come where I would get a YouTube channel. And I hated the 49ers so much that I had this devious plan way back then to do what I'm doing now, to hate on the 49ers. So you can speak for yourself. You might be a real fan, David. I have plotted this since I was 6 years old. I knew this day would come.
Bro, it's a deep fake too. That I had pictures of my daughter in the bowels of Candlestick Park, that we were at the last game at Candlestick, that I sang along the end of the road in tears with my brother and thousands of other 49ers fans. It's also a deep fake that in my 14th year in the district, 10 of my staff pictures have been with me with 49ers alarm clocks, sweatshirts, Kyle Shanahan hats. My whole door is adorned with 49ers fandom and a land of Vikings chanting skull. That's all fake. What I really want is the 49ers to suck.
Sean says he's Jimmy G plus with the damn hospital balls are crazy. Max 707 says Purdy is not the franchise quarterback and definitely not worth $53 million per year, in my opinion. Also, he wouldn't have won last week against the Cardinals. No. I was told that they would have put up 40 if he had played. So, you know, honestly, the 6 they had at halftime, they should be blessed to have it because they would have had negative points if Mac had played. John B says Brock is not the guy. He's good at times, but when it comes to crunch time, he crumbles every damn time. The defense gave the Niners multiple chances. Yes.
Yeah. And we could talk about the defense, folks. The defense, like, guys, this is without Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
This is what Renardo Green, who is, I'm not saying he's a world beater, he's not Richard Sherman, but a safety room that's been cobbled together. Guys, this defense didn't play that poorly today. We have a punt return touchdown when you have all this defense did as well as the
defense gave up what 13 today? Was it how many points did the Jags have?
We said it was 26-21, but again,
so they gave up basically 20 points today.
But wait a minute. So there was a couple turnovers where at least one of those was a short field and they held them to a field goal. Or even late in the game when they had the opportunity to ice it early, they got a 3 and out. They got them to third and 1. They make a third down stop. Like this defense really did its job. And by the way, like this defense, had this team at 2nd and 17 on the 4-yard line. And what does Kyle Shanahan do? He calls a timeout. Okay. He calls a timeout because he's like, wait a minute, I wanted to decline that penalty. That's not the way it works, Kyle.
Yeah.
Not the way it works. So you take the win out of there, says they get 3rd and 16, and then Travis Hunter makes this circus catch. It wasn't defended poorly. And then, it just takes the win out of their sails. Those kind of plays, they happen. I get it. I don't even blank. Stuff happens, right? But this I do not put this on the defense today at all.
Michael says, bro, Macy's Parade Purdy should be his new nickname with how many floats he threw out there. This one is 100% on Brock and Kyle for starting Brock.
Macy's Parade. We got
okay. My gosh.
Okay, Michael, I want to say this though. I like the idea. I think I want you to pick. I want to bring it back to the drawing board. Let's see if we can get this a little more punny. Like, could we get I feel like maybe we can mix Parade and Purdy together. And maybe my brain's not working right, but I like this, Michael.
I like it's a good start for sure. CJ, C-Go says cracks were showing in Purdy's game last year. He makes too many poor decisions, too many suicide balls over the middle. Could and should have been 4 picks. He will be cut midway through next year. That's a bold prediction. But in fact, we'll go even further though. He did this in college, folks. Yep. He did this in college.
We talked about this earlier in the show. This was junior and senior year at Iowa State. Guys, there's a reason why he was Mr. Relevant. He was scouted as a day 2 player.
Humdinger says, wait until the rain or snow. Brock can't even grip the ball without ish weather. Oh my gosh, dude. I don't even want a rain game at this point. Rondo says, go Jags. Monday Night Football, here we come. Yeah, hey, congratulations to your Jags. I'm sure that you were here for the Behind Enemy Line show. Appreciate you for tapping in, man. Congratulations. John B says, Mac Jones looked better with less weapons.
Mm-hmm. You did.
But he had a beefed up O-line, though. Right? I mean, he had a superpower O-line, and Brock had to play with this O-line. Samir says the last Niners scoring drive felt like the Jimmy G playbook. Shanahan almost overcame Purdy today. Almost. I'm not going to lie. When Brock threw, I think it was the 2nd pick.
Yep.
I did notice that they came out and ran the ball twice immediately. It's almost like he just lost all faith in Brock for at least a drive. It was like, oh man, this is not good. Especially the way that he just acted with Mac Jones throwing it 80 times over.
Are you talking about the pick? Because I remember the first drive, 3rd and 7 at the 47-yard line, he runs it. Right?
Oh, that's a good point.
That was bringing me back to like 28 or 2021, 2020.
Yeah. Eric says Purdy's making more than Lamar and Herbert, but he's better, dude. Have you not?
Yep.
Dude, EPA, bro. EPA and adjusted QBR. You clearly don't watch, Eric. LJL says this was on Brock today. It's like he feels like he's got to play hero ball. Call a spade a spade. I also don't know why Kyle won't let B-Rob run the ball more and use sets with B-Rob and CMC together. Great point. Absolute great point. But we've been calling for this this is the third year we've been asking for more of another running back. It's never been that CMC's bad. It's just, can we spare him a little bit? It's not going to happen. All day, every day, Kim says, if this was Trey. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Trey Lance.
I don't either. All due respect.
But you're right. Sean's Garage says balls were too high or too low. A few good throws don't overshadow a whole game of bad performance. O-line was bad, but those off throws were critical. He was garbage today. All three phases were bad. Yeah, and this is a great point. Sean, you can call out and say all three phases were bad. You can say that there were drops. All of those things are true, but also he was not good either. Like it all can be true. We're not, when we say, hey, Brock Purdy did all this or whatever, we're not then saying, hey, the special teams was great. No. Or, hey, they should, no drops. No, we're not saying any of those things. But what we are saying is that he didn't play well.
I feel like I'm reading that first comment. I feel like I'm reading like Goldilocks, like too hot and too cold. Balls were too high. Balls were too low.
But these ones were just right.
These ones were just right.
Will says, at this point, just let Purdy lose himself out of his contract and farm him for some tank first round picks. Absolutely gross performance from this offense. My gosh. You guys are on his neck way more than I am. J Mad says having Jimmy G flashbacks when Purdy throws over the middle. Guys, it is getting to a point because we see this, right? We see the quarterback drop back. We see the ball thrown. And with Jimmy Garoppolo, we all know we got to that point where it was like, please pan over camera and please also not let there be a pick. We're getting to that point with Brock.
Well, Brock, Jesse, in 2023, did you ever have this level of fear? Like we felt excited. You felt confident in this game.
Yes.
There was not a single play. Where I'm like, oh, Brock's got the ball. We're in good hands. And I know that sounds bad. Like there's a reason for that. Like I have to trust, like I'm sitting here nervous watching them play football, not nervous because it's nervous energy of wanting to win. It's like, it's this, I don't have an expectation. So none of this is surprising to me. And that's what's really I'm struggling with. Right. And I think that when you get to that point, I think we get to that inflection point where this has become the norm or the expected status quo. There's reason for pause, right? There's reason for concern.
Yeah. Frisco Shill says all of Brock Purdy's passes were poor. That doesn't mean Kyle Shanahan called a good game or CMC didn't cause the first interception.
What did CMC do to cause the first interception?
No.
What on earth are we talking about?
Absolutely not. He didn't. What is
this? What did he do?
How did we get here?
What did he do? Not have a 50-inch vertical? Like what is the? Did we not have a trampoline park in the middle of the field? Like I know that's usually there. I mean, Jesse, they usually. Jed York was thinking about they had to put the big new. They said there was going to be a trampoline park, right on the 25-yard line. Guys, check the comments. Was there not supposed to be a trampoline park? Yeah, hold on. I thought there was supposed to be a trampoline right there.
There was. And Brock Purdy thought it too.
It was like a Red Bull. It was a Red Bull show, and then.
But let's again, if this is the route we're going to take, then we also have to say that Jennings probably saved an interception as well.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, the ball was put in harm's way. The ball was poorly thrown. He tried to make a great play.
Yeah.
And it was tipped.
Well,
but if the ball's put where it needs to be,
right,
none of that happens.
Well, I thought the missed touchdown to Juwan Jennings is actually not a missed touchdown. Juwan Jennings has got to be a legit channel inspector gadget, and he's got to pause time, stop it, take a shovel and dig out the ground behind him so he can put his hands underneath there so the ball doesn't hit it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then not dislocate his elbow in the process. And because Juwan Jennings can't do that, you can't depend on him. I feel better now.
Yeah.
It's not Brock's fault. Don't
No.
guys, it's okay. They're just not. These players should have been mutants.
LD says, I'll say it. If Mac played, we win. You weren't the only one to say it. I think RS said it, and he's coming back. He says, got to give Kyle Shanahan a little love.
Great.
He's
I agree.
been in his playbook bag the last few games. Thank you, too, for today's therapy session. RS, thank you for the therapy.
RS made Jake Tonjes look like he's an all-pro today.
Listen, I don't know that I'll get this show in, but I think I'll do a call-in show. Maybe Saturday even, because I'm going to be traveling to the Rams game. We'll see how Thursday goes. But if the 49ers lose and it looks bad again, you guys are going to need some real therapy, and I'll be here for you. So we appreciate it. Dakari says, here's 99 cents. I appreciate you. 209ers says, if the franchise quarterback isn't elevating the offense, peace.
Deuces.
This is why you don't pay these guys. Dis brother Bob says 13 was trash today and CMC was overused again. I agree. LJL says Trey Lance got smoked for a performance, man. D like this, gotta hold Brock accountable. Yeah, I agree. And again, if we're just watching random game in the NFL and a quarterback plays bad, it's okay for it to be called out, but when it's our own, we can't. Javid says, was Jeff Garcia the last consistently good quarterback that we had in San Francisco? Seems to be that way, yeah.
Well, how about
Dakari? Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Patrick Mahomes. We've been talking about how actually recently, and even going back to last year, Patrick Mahomes, a guy who's already been conferred upon GOAT status to young GOAT, has really struggled in being late reads. And what did he do today, though? He came out and had a masterclass game and was himself and showed that, like, wait a minute, he's Patrick Mahomes. You could still go to Patrick Mahomes and say, my God, you have elevated your team. You've carried your team all these years, and yet you've had a streak of a regular season like last year that's been kind of middling. And guess what, though? He deserves 1,000 mulligans because he's Patrick Mahomes, right? And so when he comes out in the game against Baltimore and goes out today and shows you exactly who he is, we don't have to sit there and second guess. Well, maybe no, he deserves the benefit of the doubt. Like, you can still critique a guy who's a legend. So why can't we critique Brock?
Exactly. We do critique every quarterback in the NFL, and we do it freely, and it's okay. Dakari says, tell Brock to take his ass back to Iowa.
Iowa State, buddy. Iowa State.
He's from Arizona, actually.
Yeah.
Sea Ghost became a member. I appreciate you, Sea Ghost. Thank you so much for the support. This brother Bob says, no Super Bowl dub with Purdy or Kyle Levy, period.
Nope.
Period. Savage AF says, can you talk about how bad special teams still is? Yes. Oh my gosh. They are awful. They are absolutely freaking awful. It was on the docket to talk about, but you guys went crazy with these super chats. Yes. The returner literally went untouched for a punt return. Unacceptable. It's crazy, man. They actually have poured a lot of assets into the special teams unit, including the coach, and it's just not working out. I don't understand.
Question. What was our over for Matthew Golden's receiving yards?
39.
I think it's 45.
46 and a half.
Oh, he got a 46-yard catch just now. So
okay, so we
almost
see one
there.
More. We're already on our way to win. Hopefully you tailed us on the sleeper picks. Promo code LSS, by the way. Anthony Cook says, I really agree with all the takes. Being said, but where is some solutions? We can't just pack it up after week 4. Thanks from Spokane, Washington.
Great take.
It is a great take. Unfortunately, the solutions are not there this year. The solution is to stay the course and worry about the future. Don't sacrifice any future assets to win in 2025. That is the solution. The solution is to grow this team, to build these young players, develop these players, and do not waste future assets. What this season is going to be is what this season is going to be. The other solution is they're going to be in a lot of close games, much like they were today, much like they were the first 3 weeks. Learning how to win in these close games is going to be super important for the future of this team. The solution was never 2025. The solution was always 2026 and beyond, in my opinion.
I would also say the solution is to remember that sometimes the idea of learning how to win close games, I don't disagree with you, Jess, but I'm gonna push back on that a little bit because I'm a guy that believes that first quarter, second quarter, third quarter matters. And this idea that these games, you could say, hey, we've learned to win these games, but sometimes it's just like you happen to win a game where the ball it was tight and it really could have gone either way. And so we're looking at a team that's 3-1 that could easily be 1-3, 2-2, right? I don't think 0-4, okay, but definitely not 4-0. Okay, they were not close to winning this game today, and I want to say that I think what Jess said, you've got to stop with these. You've got to rip the Band-Aid off and stop the extension, stop the restructures, stop kicking the can down the road. They already have Brock with outs after the second year, so you can give him that chance to see if he can be that guy next year. Do I believe he's that guy, like that guy? No. But do I believe that you can win a Super Bowl with Brock when everything's right? Yes. But as this team's constructed, you're not doing that this year. So why pour all your resources into just making these guys feel like they can when we know it's not a possibility?
You know what I just realized? That the 49ers, because of bad extensions and bad decisions on aging players, are paying more for Eric Armstead this year than the Jaguars are, and he's the one that made the game-winning play. I'm just going to throw that out there.
And I tweeted that out right when it, not that, but like,
did
Eric
you?
Armstead sweet, no, not that, but Eric Armstead sweet revenge, because look, I didn't think they should have brought him back. I think that he's on the south side of his career, so to speak. But to have him come back in Levi's and to have him seal the game, it's cruel poetry, man.
Yeah. All day, every day, Kim says Brock excuses remind me of MAGA, no joke. I don't know. I'm not going to get political, but it reminds me of the Jimmy Garoppolo days too. I'll just say that. This brother Bob says, Jesse, I will be at the Thursday night football game, same seats like last year. Well, we'll meet up at halftime, brother Bob. I'll see you again. I appreciate you. For Life Niner says, Jesse looks like a Russian mob boss. CMC is done. He's still effective. He's not done. He's just not a great runner anymore. Bobo says, Jesse, are you that out on Purdy? Thought the Niners structured his contract to be team friendly early. No judgment. Just curious where you're at. I'm not out on him being an effective starter in this league. I love the way they structured the contract because they have the outs in case this continues. And I always thought that this was a possibility. We will see how it goes forward. No, I'm not out on Purdy where it's like, hey, start Mac Jones. I'm not there. But this is a long stretch that we're on of turnovers. And luckily, they did structure it the way they did. And honestly, the 49ers were worried about this a bit too. And that's why they did structure it the way that they did. Flav says Brock played like dog shit, needed to have insane health and hit on a ton of rookies to have any chances this year. I like the rookies, but the team already depleted. Not our year. Future is still bright, though. Flav, I agree with you. Ramon says, if Mac fumbles at the end like that, he'd be destroyed. Little upside by playing him today due to his weak arm. He's constantly guessing on throws and inaccurate. His contract is toxic. Great call. Listen, a lot of people love to bring up the Drew Brees comp because of the size and because of the lack of arm strength towards the tail end of his career. I don't think he ever had the weakest arm. But he was the most accurate quarterback in NFL history. In order to be the anomaly, when you are that size, you have to be special somewhere else. Brock Purdy is not special in anything. Nothing. So because of that, he's never going to be elite in this league. He doesn't have elite accuracy. He doesn't have elite ball placement. He doesn't have elite anticipation. He has good anticipation. He has good accuracy. He certainly doesn't have elite decision making. Maybe the only thing you can say is elite short area quickness, but who gives a rip about any of that when your short area quickness gets you out of a sack and then you're thrown across your body for a pick anyways? So there we go. Flav says, I kind of want them to lose out. I'm not going to lie. Listen, I'm not there yet, Flav, but if they go on a 3-game skid, we're going to have conversations. Mumble says, I know this might be a bad time here from the Hawks Nest. If the 49ers win versus the Hawks again, are you going to have someone make sourdough Sam hat for Brandon to wear so that his hat is wearing a hat? Oh, so a hat for the hat? I think that's a great idea. Yes, I love that. For Life Niner says BP needs some styles. Do you know what he means by this?
I don't know. I'm old. I'm 43.
I don't
But
either.
my Noom says my Noom age is 40 today. So I think that means that I've added 3 years onto my life.
That's good.
Because apps are always right.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. I don't know what that means, but I agree. I maybe reluctantly, I don't know. Frisco Shill says, why focus on Brock Purdy when Kyle Shanahan isn't consistent with any quarterback?
I mean, he's
Because
consistent.
he makes all quarterbacks look good. The one thing we cannot deny is that whatever a quarterback is,
Yeah.
he gives them at least 10 spots better than what they are. So if Mac Jones is a low-end starter in this league, he looks like a top 20 quarterback. If Jimmy Garoppolo is a backup in this league, he looks like a top 20 quarterback. If Brock Purdy can look like a top 15 quarterback, maybe he's closer to 25. And if Nick Mullins is a third string quarterback, maybe he can make him look like a serviceable backup. This is what he does. So
we always say this too. If Brock Purdy put on a Jaguars uniform today, if Brock Purdy was playing for the Rams, if Brock Purdy was playing for the Seahawks, if Brock Purdy was playing for the Miami Dolphins, guys, so as a fan, watch it's really hard to separate the player from the fandom. Fandom is a drug. We're all, none of us are immune to kind of being intoxicated by it from time to time. Right. So, but I beg of you, like, try that. Try surrounding yourself with people who have zero dog in the fight and watch the game today and say that it's Kyle Shanahan that's not consistent.
yeah. I can't go there. Flav says Brock is a walking poster board for why no man should ever be tied down. Dude proposed to his girl and forgot how to play football. I disagree with that. If you're happy and you're in love, do that. I'm all for love and marriage and all of that. But listen, if that's your opinion, then I will say prime athletes being tied down a lot of times isn't great. I will agree with that. Samir says, thinking more about it, what's most frustrating about Brock Purdy right now is it's not obvious what he needs to work on. Decision making, that used to be a strength. Floating passes, can't fix his arm. You're kind of onto something here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Envix Media says the similarities between Brock and Jimmy can't be a coincidence. Kyle must have something to do with it. Yes, he has a thing for mediocre quarterbacks. That's what he has to do with it. Like he has a fixation on anybody who might be Kirk Cousins' ex. Like that's it. That's his problem. That's the problem. Smack Jones says Trent Wash second year straight. Need OTA in camp, getting beat by second rate rushers. Yeah, he kind of is. Cryptic says, if this continues, can you see Ayuk just resting? Yes, possibly. Waruna, what's up, Waruna? Says, need a refund for Sunday ticket. Garbage play. I can't help you there,
bro. I got a hookup for you. Just message me.
Yeah, there we go. He does too. Frisco Shill says the straw man comments are dumb. The first thing I wrote was all of Purdy's throws were poor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're saying on your thing. I got you. You're right. I did focus in on the end of it. You're right, Frisco Shills. I agree with you. Yeah, I did focus in on that, but you did say it. I feel you. Flav says, let's not get too ridiculous in here. Brock needs to go 15-5 in his next 19 games to be as good as Jimmy. Oh, geez. Okay. 808 Niner says, member for 20 months. Gonna be another long season. Top 12 pick loading. Maybe.
No, man. Now we're gonna go 8 and 9 to get pick like 16.
Oh gosh. LJL says, at what point do we let CMC play as a pseudo slot wide receiver? Yes, and yes. You did say it. KT says, so we are trash, or is the Jags defense that good? We're mid. We're not trash. We're not great. I think we're somewhere in between, and we've been the benefit of a lot to start the season.
Without having an easy schedule. And like I said, this on paper, if you really look at it, me and Jess and Marco were talking about this the other day. Mm-hmm. There's not a team that they play this entire year. Now the Rams, I think, can have the potential to be, but they're still not in a tier to me that are like, wow, the Niners don't have a single, what I would view as legitimate, like, I'm afraid to play this team type of team on their schedule this year. And I respect a lot of the teams. I do. Mm-hmm. Right. But because of that, you're looking at, we could say, are we mid? Are we what have you? You know, if this team ends up going 9 and 8, against this team, like that's not mid, that's below mid.
Yeah,
Because
that's
they're not playing the opponents right now, even after we've been able to take a look at them beyond on paper, just they know, but they haven't played. I mean, in Seattle week 1, like Seattle should have won that game. Like this other games, like these aren't people that should be striking fear in anybody. The Saints, the Jaguars, and the Cardinals.
No. Samir says, regarding stopping the restructures, do you think York is open to letting Shan stay while they reset and rebuild, and will Shan even stay for that?
No,
I don't think so.
I'll say it. I'll say
mean,
no. No.
Okay.
I will say, I say, and I'm not, look, I look at Kyle. Do I think the clock management? All coaches are bad at clock management, though. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I watch so much football. It's just like it's mind numbing how these guys get in the moment and just forget how to manage a game. But so beyond that, like, don't be the only reason they're in this game today is because Kyle Shanahan was. I mean, look, I'm sorry, Jake Tonjes, all due respect, but like, let's be real, folks. I mean, come on now, okay? Like, so even then. I just don't think that because they've tied their cart to, if this doesn't work, it's because Purdy didn't work. And guess what, guys? Like, you picked Trey, you traded 3 firsts, it didn't work. You traded him for peanuts, it didn't work. You go through this and it doesn't work with Brock after making him the $53 million man. I'm sorry, there's only in life, in football, we've seen great coaches. In college, you see this all the time. I watch highlights all the time of these coaches celebrating on the sidelines from 8 years ago. Oh my God, that guy's a really good coach. Oh yeah, he got fired. You know, like
if you have 3 divorces, maybe sometimes it's not always your wife. I'll just throw that out there. You know, maybe. Michael says no one wants to say it, but Mac over Brock. But Mac is 2-0 with a comeback win, and Purdy is 1-1 and responsible for the loss of Kittle and now Pearsall. I don't know, man. Listen, quarterback wins aren't a thing, but Max played every bit as good as Brock has in this early season.
Sure.
So Anthony Cook says, how long before Brock Purdy says your plays suck, man? The Jimmy Garoppolo thing. Flav says, Jess, I'll be there Thursday. Also, what side are you on? DM me, man. We'll figure out a way to meet up. I'll be there tailgating.
Oh, I forgot. So. There's no post game on Thursday. You're going to be in LA.
I'm gonna have to do it from the stadium live from there and try to figure it out. Bringing on somebody else is going to be impossible. You and I are going to do it live from the Buck Stadium, though. That'll be a lot of fun the very next week. So that'll be good. So anyways, all right, y'all, listen, thank you to everybody that contributed. We had over 2,000 between X and YouTube strong all night long. Really appreciate each and every one of you. At one point, we clipped over 1,000 on YouTube alone. So appreciate everybody for coming in. Much love. Brother Bob says, yeah, brother, meet up at halftime. Wifey will be with me for sure. I'll call you. I got you, Brother Bob. All right, y'all, listen, have a blessed night. We'll talk soon. David, thank you again. Stay blessed, everybody. Peace.